Hi everybody, welcome back if you're returning. So I'm gonna do like a twin flame reading tonight, and I'm saying like a twin flame reading because I'm not really sure where this is gonna go, and I'm just using a little bit of moldavite oil here tonight. So I've got some moldavite oil, and this is going to be a follow-up to the part 1 reading that I did in August for Lionsgate. So a twin flame has been coming up for me a lot over the past week or so, and for two reasons, actually, two interesting reasons, like kind of out of the blue. So the first thing that happened was I watched The Matrix 4 finally, Resurrections, and I was getting all these downloads and like having these aha moments and these revelations around twin flame connection, the journey, all of that as connected into the Matrix movie. And I wanted to talk about that. And then also there was another show that I watched on Netflix. So I had canceled my Netflix many moons ago, and I was dog sitting last week, and the place where I was dog sitting, they had Netflix. So there's a show, for those of you that have Netflix and you're interested, it's called Echoes. And it's with, I forget her name, the actress's name. I think her last name is Monahan or Moynihan. She's pretty well known, but she played a double role in this, in Echoes. So if you've seen it, drop a comment. And if you are watching this, obviously you're interested in twin flame. So if you saw Echoes, did you get any, did you get any like revelations around that regarding your twin flame journey, or just the energy of twin flame, for lack of a better word, divine union, divine counterpart, holy marriage, sacred union, whatever you want to call it. So if you saw Echoes, and also if you saw Matrix 4, or just any of the Matrix movies in general, I never really understood that there was a component of twin flame inside of the Matrix, but of course there was. And that's where the deeper understanding of this journey is like sort of revealed, is through these various places and things. So I guess what I wanted to talk about inside of the Matrix. So I want to grab a tarot deck. Let's see. I think we'll use Influence of the Angels Tarot. This is a cool deck. Anyway, so about Neo and Trinity, right? The two sort of main characters, if you will, the hero and the heroine. Of course, there's Morpheus and all of the other characters as well, but focusing on the kind of premise and the whole deal behind the Matrix, and number 4. So in number 4, we have Neo, who goes by Tom Anderson, right? He's gone back to sleep for like 60 years. So, and so has Trinity, or Tiffany, as she's referred to in the Matrix 4. So they've both gone back to sleep. They're back in the Matrix, and it's a new Matrix this time, right? That's kind of what we learn. It's like kind of a different Matrix. The analyst is the one who created this new Matrix. And apparently Neo had been asleep for 60 years. He's a game developer, and he thinks that he developed this game, but then he's starting to wake up, and every day, obviously, he's taking his blue pill, and he's like stops taking it, and then he remembers. So blah, blah, blah. But how does it relate to twin flame? So that's what I want to talk about. How it relates to twin flame. These were just some of the messages that I was getting. So obviously Neo, if you play around with the 3 letters N-E-O, you get the word one. And he's also referred to as the one, right? So he's number 1. Trinity is obviously number 3. So she represents the energy of 3, which is Divine Mother. It's the celestial Trinity, if you will. It's Mother, Father, God. It's the 2 twins and then the third energy. So it's a merging of a union and the third energy that creates. And Neo, of course, being the chosen one or the one, he's the singularity, right? And what was also fascinating to me inside of the Matrix 4 is that it's Neo who remembers, and it's Trinity that is asleep. And so the whole point is that, you know, they're in the coffee shop, right? And he's remembering and all of that, and he hasn't taken the red pill again yet, but he's remembering. And when he sees her, I think there's a point where he touches her, and that happens a few times throughout the movie. There's sort of a theme of that, that the Matrix, okay, so the Matrix itself, the very program of the Matrix, is dependent upon these two, Neo and Trinity, 1 and 3, that they are both alive, that they're both kept alive in their pods, and they're being, their energy is being loosed, obviously, that they're both kept alive inside of their pods, asleep inside of their blue pill, and that the whole fabric of this program is dependent upon both of them. It will fall apart if one of them ceases to exist, dies, or it will start to fall apart if one of them wakes up and the other one, even if the other one is still asleep. And so it has to keep them independently separate, right? They can know each other, but they can't be together. They're kept apart, but they can still have an awareness of one another, but they can't be together. She obviously has a handler who's a bot, who's her husband. So you could call that a karmic. I'm just like relating all of this to Twin Flame Journey, you know, but her husband, Trinity's husband, is really a bot. He's part of the program, part of the swarm. So interesting. And I'm going through the deck right now, and I'm pulling out all of the wands because I want to talk about the wands. So anyway, and then what else? There was so much more. So, but you can see throughout the Matrix 4, and obviously spoiler alert, so if you haven't seen it, you may want to click this off and not watch it. But that when they do come together, it is, that's when they receive all of their supernatural powers, right? And there's more to it because he loses his ability to fly, and then she gains the ability to fly. Also, what I love is that it's the masculine energy that remembers first, and the masculine energy that comes in, obviously Neo, and he has to awaken the feminine, and he has to help her to remember and consciously make the decision to take the red pill, so it can't be forced upon her. So I love that the masculine energy, the one, Neo, O-N-E-N-E-O, he is the one that that has the remembrance, and he is the one that you know, that helps the feminine to save herself and to awaken. And obviously the two of them together, the twin flame, that the two of them together are ultimately there to save the planet. So I just thought, oh my goodness, this is so relevant, you know, this is so relevant. And also it's clues. I see these things as clues, disclosure, if you will. This is cosmic disclosure. And it is the reason why, you know, twin flame is important to many of us. We resonate with this energy. We resonate with this story. And for many people, there is so much misunderstanding around what twin flame is, what that, you know, from the most basic level, and then through the whole, all of the different ideas and layers about twin flame. And many of us on this journey, we are decoding what this means. It resonates with us, we feel it, and not everybody does, and that's fine. But like, we feel it, it resonates with us. There's a truth that's in it. There's a remembrance that we have. Maybe it's, you know, it's in our DNA, it's coded in there. So I just thought that that was fascinating. And I'm sure that we will talk more about that. So then I want to talk about Echoes. So Echoes is a story of two women. They are both from Mount Echo, Virginia, and they grow up in a sort of country lifestyle, very small mountain town in Virginia. Their names are Gina and Lenny. So two twins, a set of twins, obviously, and played by the same character. She's amazing. Okay. The storyline was so interesting. Twists and turns at every angle. And again, I don't have a Netflix, but this was kind of fun for me since I canceled my Netflix. But anyway, so some of the themes that came up inside of that show were about, because these are obviously siblings, but just about the twins in general, and how, for me, how it related to twin flame. It's sort of the darker side of twin flame, if you will, where, you know, when there is before the awakening, or before the sort of holy marriage, the holy union, sort of, I think that twins are born with that. It's in our coding, is this alchemical marriage, this holy union, this one singularity that then becomes two, and then sort of becomes three. During that process, that very painful process, there is sort of this sense of oneness. And one of the themes that was coming up in that show, in Echoes, was about knowing one another like no one else does. That, and the theme about to this show was about the two of them being one, and how that is both accurate, and also how that is also dangerous, because there's still this autonomy to the journey. So I was feeling like Echoes was more part of the distortion around twin flame. It shows a lot of truth around twin flame, but also part of the distortion, where there's almost this one of the twins sort of consuming the other twin, consuming that twin, consuming their identity, and also the switching. And so the mirroring effect of the twins, think of Gemini, the lovers, the twins, and how also there can be a switching of energies throughout the journey. Holding a mirror to one another's shadow is a big theme with twin flame. That's sort of the energy of temperance, about these two polarities, two sides of the same coin, and each holds a key to the other shadow. So it also speaks to sort of some of the obsession that can happen inside of twin flame, the unhealthy aspects, but also the power of the twins. It all goes back to the power of the twins. So with the Matrix, it was the power of Neo and Trinity together, to break this dream spell, to hack the Matrix, to break the spell of this illusion and this false world and many of the false narratives. And that twin flame journey is truly a key to the ascension of planet Earth, and also to the collective ascension of humanity, and the elevation of consciousness. That it's not, there's no savior complex in this, and I'll kind of talk about that, the devil coming up here. There isn't any savior complex per se. It's just something that you're coded with. It's something that you have a remembrance of, and when it comes into your awareness, you can't shake it. And that was sort of with Neo and Trinity. It was like she was having dreams of him. She was dreaming of situations with him. And then she watched his game, and she said she felt like she was having a memory. It was a memory, not a game. But then she was questioning herself, like, how could this be possible? I'm a mother, I've got children and this husband, and but how sort of parts of her truest self bled through, like they were bleeding through into her real life. Like in the Matrix 4, how she works on motorcycles and loves motorcycles and she builds them. And, you know, and that's Tiffany. But Trinity was like, you know, the motorcycle rider, like super badass. So the memories that the twins come in with this, you know, with this program, if you will, but it's a divine blueprint. It's the divine blueprint. And then there's a catalyst for remembrance. And oftentimes, you know, it's some big event in your life. It could be, for many twins, I hear, for many people, it's sort of like an NDE, like a near-death experience, some kind of catalyst for your awakening, something in your life. Some twins have met, some twins are in union. Some twins have met and have had relationships and are in a very long-term separation. You know, there's so many different scenarios with Twin Flame Journey. So I wanted to look at the wands. So let's see if I can start at the beginning. So with Neo, we would have the Ace of Wands, and that's, you know, him being the one, let's just say. But with the Ace of, so we're going to look at the wands with regards to Twin Flame, because wands are obviously fire, so that is the flame. And this we could talk about this from the standpoint of cups, which would be more of the emotional journey around it, or we could talk about it in pentacles, which may be more of the physical journey and the 3D around it, or the swords, which is, you know, all the stuff with the mind and many of the distortions that happen there, and the ego. So anyway, we're going to talk about it from the Ace, from the Wands, because it's fire and it's flame. So here we have the Ace of Wands, and this is Manus Dei, or like the hand of God that comes in and is sort of activating something. It's source energy because it's the one. So this is where there is the beginning point, the starting point, and it's the two mirrored souls, the two flames that actually come from one source. So this is the singularity, and this is the one. And then I was thinking about the Two of Wands today. I was just sort of like laying in bed for a little while this afternoon. I had a client session, and I was sort of just resting, and before that, and I was thinking about the Two of Wands, where in the Two of Wands, we obviously see the man, and he has the two wands. He's holding one, the other wand is behind him, and he has the sphere or the globe in his hand. So I feel that this is like the separation, where there is a splitting, if you will. There's a splitting, right? So even if we're thinking about identical twins or even fraternal twins, in the womb, I would say more identical, and there's the split off. So it's kind of that. And inside of that, this is where it comes down into the 3D, and that's into a physical form. And that's why I usually see him holding the world in his hands, because it's about to be physicalized. So here is where there's just a oneness. This would be above 5D, even maybe way above 5D. So this is like the source code here, and this would almost be, again, the universe or the creator or God, you know, actualizing this soul. Okay, and then here's the splitting in the Two of Wands. So then when we get to the Three of Wands, that's where I feel that there is an identification, that there's something that we're longing for. We may not even know what that is at this point, but there's a longing. There's some kind of a remembrance. There's a longing, and it feels that there's something that has been taken away from us, or that a missing piece, and it's far away. And there's a longing, and there's a curiosity. And this is where the desire really builds. And it's something spiritual, like the Wands energy. So interestingly, we would have sort of like the energy of Neo, and then the energy of Trinity with the Three of Wands and the Ace of Wands. And when you add the two of them together, when you add Trinity together with the Ace, the three, and the 1 is where you get the 4. So then we progress into the 4 of Wands, and this is where you see the realization of the other. So it's a full remembrance of the other. It's more than a feeling. Now I'm remembering that song, more than a feeling. And this would be the union, right? Whether there's physical union or not, this is the energy of knowing what that is and having a remembrance of it. It's coming home. So the 4s are where we can take a pause, we take a break. We pause to celebrate, we pause to heal, we pause to conserve, to rest, to heal, whatever that is. In the 4 of Wands, it's where we do pause to celebrate, where there is union. This is a card of marriage. And with the 2 wands on each side, it's like an 11-11 or a twin flame. So these are where the 2, each having their own, because with the splitting, it's where the feminine side and the masculine side are both working with their own polarities. So the feminine side, she has her feminine and her masculine from within her. The masculine side has his own masculine and his own feminine within him. So they're doubled up here. And I feel that, because what is the point of twin flame, right? What is the point of this journey? I think it's actually built into our coding. Like, we were designed this way. We chose this path on a deep, deep soul level. We chose this path because we saw the power of coming together in union with another soul that is our mirror, because it's even more powerful. And again, we knew where we were coming, and we knew that there was a mission, and we knew, that it was not going to be easy. And so this is the celebration of that. And for some people, this is the actual twin flame union, in the physical. This is that actual union, and this is the holy marriage, the alchemy. It's all of it. However, what the 4s show us is that this will not be the final resting place, that there will be a whole journey ahead of this. So, so there will be a whole journey ahead of this. This is the place where we pause to celebrate, and it's not the end of the road. And what's interesting, we could go through the rest of them, and maybe we'll talk about a few of them, is that in like the Suit of Cups, the 9 of Cups, the 10 of Cups, they are, the wish fulfillment, the happiness, higher love, higher timelines, happily ever after. Even the same thing with the Pentacles, 9 of Pentacles, 10 of Pentacles, there's wealth and abundance and comfort and community, building generational wealth, there's legacies, there's all of that. But when you talk about wands and when you talk about swords, when you get to the 9s and the 10s, there's you need to have strength and perseverance, and you're at this place where you're like, you've become a warrior, so after we leave the 4, right, where maybe we've had union, you've met your twin, you've been dreaming about them, you're celebrating that you're a part of this journey, and you're accepting it, or you're remembering it, you're researching it, you're tuning into it, it's becoming integrated with all of your life experiences thus far. And after that, that's when a lot of other things happen. So this is where we will come up against karma. We'll come up against forces that are sort of there as catalysts for chaos and conflict. So going back to the Matrix, sorry, I have an itch on my back. Going back to the Matrix, I was seeing the 5 of Wands in such a different kind of way. Like, I was feeling everything that was written into the inverted timelines, the inorganic timelines, the matrix, if you will. These 5 of Wands were the things that would just like seek to keep the twins separated, to wreak havoc, to create chaos, conflict. So in your life, or in your journey, this could come in the form of other people. other people's opinions. It's also the inner conflict of one twin. Perhaps it's, you know, in your case, maybe it's your divine masculine. For some of you, this is your divine feminine. This is battling the ego. You know, it's sort of being inside of the chess game, the 3D chess game of all of the moving parts and people looking for status, for wealth, for, you know, moving up in society. This could absolutely represent the karmic relationships, if you will. So over that word, because the twins have karma together too. Because it's also my feeling that we are in this loop. We're in this cycle and this loop of reincarnation, where I think the twins have been, you know, and not just twin flame, many souls who are embodied have been, you know, in this loop, and we're really looking to exit this loop. And that's, I feel like, what this particular lifetime is for, because I don't know that in my last lifetime I was necessarily talking about these things. Maybe I was, I don't know. So the fives, right? In your own life, you can think about like what that represents, the parts of the ego, of status, of, you know, the world of comparison, of competition and ego and all of that. And then from the 5, we move into the 6, where, you know, depending on the context of this card, it can be sort of similar to this, but this is where somebody feels like they've won, you know? So it's like, okay, I've overcome some of the conflict and I've won. This is all Leo energy. So it is very spirited. It has a lot of courage. So I think this is where the twins are also out there in the world, learning courage, learning creativity. This is maybe even recreation, which is recreation. We're recreating some of our identity. We're getting creative, all of that. So in some cases you lose, in some cases you win. So it's moving through some of the Leo stuff. Whereas in the beginning, you know, this was sort of moving through Aries, around the identity, you know, around the self, and kind of understanding who we are as individuals, and seeing that there's something more from the ace, you know, from the ace to the 2, 3, and the 4, moving through Aries and then into the Leo energy. And so even with the 7, this would still be a continuation of the Leo aspect of the wands. So from the 5 to the 6 to the 7, where we learn courage, where we learn valor, where we learn how strong we are, where, you know, these are big spiritual tests and challenges. I feel that this is where a lot of the twins get stuck. Honestly, I do feel this. This is where perhaps you know, because it's not linear. This isn't happening in a straight line. Twin flame is super quantum. So this isn't happening in a straight line. And this is where perhaps, you know, maybe you found yourself in some situations where someone maybe who you thought was your twin, because there are false twins, catalyst twins, if you will. But in any event, you're seeing where, whether it's with you being unable to kind of like own it, to own the journey, to own the belief around it, to stand up for the other, to defend the other. So I was thinking of the Matrix, how, you know, when Tiffany was being led out of, you know, she was being freed from the pod. Again, spoiler alert. So, but she's being freed from the pod. And so in the program and the simulation, it's like she has the opportunity to stay with Neo and fight, or to be pulled out by her husband, who was really a bot. He was just a player. He was a pawn. He was just a bot. He was an AI program. And the kids are like, Mommy, we need you. Mommy, we need you. And so she had to make the decision. And this is where I think that a lot of the twins can get stuck, you know, is in making that decision, because there's other things. There's the glory of maybe another life that is more comfortable, more accepted by society. There's more status or more money, or it's a less kind of spiritual path, if you will. This is a path that I think it does take a lot of courage to walk this path, to be realized inside of this path. So that's the Leo aspect of it. Then we get into the Sagittarius aspect where, yes, if you make the sacrifices, I see the Eight of Wands as almost like you've sacrificed parts of your life on an altar for spirit to see, for God to see, for the universe to see. And because of that, you get, it's like the energy of the universe is responding to that, is responding to this courage, to this valor. And then there's like a charge of energy. There's swift moving energy. There's something that propels the twins forward. And this is going back to that 8 where I was saying about the loop of infinity and being in this karmic loop. But this is about self-mastery and remembering our wisdom. So connected into strength. So this is where, yeah, then you'll move forward. Like there's forward progress inside of twin flame. And here we're seeing an angel sound the trumpets and all of the horses. So a nod to this part of the journey is where there's more freedom. There's almost a freedom in the truth, because when you think of Sagittarius, it's about truth, really, truth and liberation and expansion. Jupiterian, so expansion of consciousness. So there's almost like this is being, courageous enough, having the understanding, again, the power of the journey, the power of Neo and Trinity coming together, and that's where the breakthrough happened. That's where the breakthrough really happened. But it's still not over. It's still not over, because then there's this fight, we're still fighting and we're still learning, and there's still a lot of weight to be carried. And it just shows, and again, we're just looking at twin flame through the energy of the wands. So we could look at it through all of the different elements. Here we're looking at it through fire. And if you like this video, then then I would maybe move on to cups next, and then maybe pentacles. And I think I'd probably end with swords, because I feel like that would be the one I would really need to get some serious information around. But it's still not over. So one of the things with twin flame, because this is a card of Sagittarius as well, but for me, it really feels very Chiron-like. So the wounded healer, because here we see the wounded warrior. And this is where sometimes it's almost like, yes, you feel like the universe is bringing you good luck, forward movement. You've kind of graduated to now, like, you're here in the 9 to like a completion. But this is where you're also facing even more of your wounding, and it's more of a test of your strength. So in the Sagittarius portion, we really see where the strength is being tested from the 8 to the 9 to the 10, almost being home. And that is sort of coming home to the journey. And, just as someone, I've been on this journey for a long time, and I'm still in a place where I'm figuring this out as well. I don't have all of the answers, so I don't even know what this outcome is. And I think that that's part of it. It's like, he's carrying these 10 wands in a way and in a fashion where he can't even see what's in front of him. And Sagittarius is also about faith. So he's carrying them. It's, again, there's a strength when you get this sort of far in the twin flame journey, you get stronger. Even though you take steps back, like I was saying, it's not linear. You do take steps back and then forward and then back and then forward. And by the time you're at the 10, maybe you can't even see what's in front of you. This may be a part of the journey where, hell, if you even know who your twin is, you just know that there is a twin, and you know that you also have it completely and totally and wholly within yourself. And so whatever it is that you have to carry going forward, you're going to do so with strength and with faith. And when you get to this point too, I feel that this is also in the 9 and the 10, this is also where you can decide to try to leave it behind. Like it's almost too much. And I see that happen too. However, I don't, again, this is where when we get into the 9 and the 10, I can talk about the 9 from like my own standpoint of doing the inner work, looking at our core wounds through the journey, and how twin flame is so good at doing that, at bringing up the healing that you need, bringing up your own deepest triggers, and where, like Chiron, that becomes your superpower, and that is where you can actually heal others through. And so once we get to the 10, I don't really have an answer. I don't know what happens, because some people are going to keep carrying this forward, and they're going to trust, and they're going to trust where they're being led. And it's because it's Wands energy, so it's about our beliefs, and it's spiritual, and it's guided by spirit. And so he is being blessed along this path, right? So yeah, that's the journey through the lesser arcana, not even the court cards, of just the wands as it relates to twin flame. So I can't believe how long this went. I want to get some astrology cards around this. How is this resonating for you? I think maybe this was just more of a teaching than a reading, just from some of the downloads that I got. And maybe it helps you know more about your journey, about maybe some of the places along that from the ace to the 10, because remembering, that's how many cards? That would be 10 cards from the ace to the 10, right? Yeah, from the ace to the 10 is 10 cards. So maybe just getting a few cards here. Well, this is interesting. So this is a deck that's by my good friend, Crystal Prophecy, and this is an astrology lab. So it's the Crystal A Lab Oracle. It's an astrology lab. It says your channeled Astrolab Compass Oracle deck, and she's a Sedona author, one of my closest friends, Kiara Kyan. Shout out to Kiara. So Uranus is coming out, the planet Uranus, which is retrograde in Taurus right now. And this is where right now, like, and Uranus is going to be squaring Saturn in September. And this is like a big deal. Saturn retrograde in Aquarius. Saturn's retrograde, right? Uranus retrograde in Taurus. And this is where, like, expect the unexpected. Like, there are just things that are going to be happening that are big surprises, maybe around your twin, but just for you in general. To expect the unexpected and be willing to pivot, be willing to change like that, be willing to change direction, tweak your plans, just being prepared for the unexpected. And with Uranus here, it's Aquarian energy. So again, Saturn in Aquarius, Uranus is the co-ruler of Aquarius, so a Saturn, but Uranus retrograde in Taurus, it's a big deal. And, and it says, embrace chaos, allowing change for individual liberty. So I feel that this is where both of the twins are right now, is that these changes, these moments of even changes in beliefs, Uranus is like lightning for me, Uranian energy, it's like a lightning bolt. So be open to having new information, almost to have like your beliefs like obliterated to some degree around whatever it is, whatever your spiritual beliefs are, whatever beliefs you're having, be open to change. This is chaos, right? And just allowing the change to happen for individual liberty, because Uranus is about revolution and it revolutionizes things. That's why it rules Aquarius, because it's about progress. So know that these things are leading you to progress inside of your life and inside of your journey, and your divine counterpart may be going through some big changes. So let's see what else we have. Ice. Well, that's interesting. It says be able to play and open to learn. And I'm trying to see what element this is here, but I can't really see it. So I think it's Piscean. It is Piscean. So be open to play and learn new things. And I feel like, you know, with Uranus coming in, and you can see the colors are kind of very similar. Here there is a lot of kind of shadow inside of this with the Piscean energy, and sort of things that may be frozen. I'm thinking of if Uranus moved through ice, it would shatter it. And what's so interesting is I was watching, and you might want to check out this program, the Leo King, who's a pretty famous astrologer. He's been doing this show called Spiritual Daddy, and it's the divine masculine has something to say. And him and Fixed Air Moon, who's also an astrologer, it's like a roundtable discussion of two divine masculine. And there's a lot of astrology and just topics of the day and disclosure and all of that. And they were talking about this Uranus square Saturn as shattered realities. So that's why I was saying being open to pivot, being able to pivot, to change direction, to be open-minded that your beliefs may be something that you believe to be true wasn't true or was an illusion or something like that. Because I'm thinking if Uranus was moving through ice, it would shatter it. It would obliterate it. So that's interesting. But also the softer side of things being open to play and open to learn. And I'm almost thinking of Leo in that regards, because Leo loves to play and Leo loves to learn as well. It's kind of fire and ice, so the polarity. And let's see what else we have here. So I want to get a few more cards and then we'll end this. This is just kind of a check-in, I guess. And I just wanted to share with you what I learned from the Matrix 4. And I'm wondering if any of you have any comments around that. So we're getting lava. Interesting. Ice and lava. Fire and ice. Fire and ice. And that's very much a quality the two components of temperance, which is the alchemical marriage, and it is the holy union of opposites, of, you know, and integrating those. And that's twin flame. It says reflect, go within, grow, and build. And this is Scorpio here, right? So with all of the retrogrades that are going on, Mercury is about to go retrograde. Mercury is in the shadow, will be retrograde in Libra. And like all of the planets, you know, Venus and Mars are direct, but it's like the outer planets. So, you know, all of the outer planets, Saturn, Uranus, Jupiter, I think is Chiron even retrograde. Like there's, so this is a time to reflect. I'm not sure how much action there is. Like, it's like there are things happening, but I don't know that there's like so much action towards whether it's union or relationship in general. I feel this is really a time to pull back and do some reflecting. So let's get some crystal messages and let's look at the masculine energy. You're going to like this. And let's look at the feminine energy. So the masculines are getting charoite, which is a beautiful, beautiful purple stone under the element of air, and they're getting a path of service. So I do feel, and the reading that the last twin flame reading that I did was in August, and the masculines were getting like a lot of creative energy. It really for them is about they're being called to do things a bit differently, to explore their higher path. Their path of service is calling them. I'm feeling like if they're not answering this call, then there's going to be chaos for them. You know, so if they're trying to do things the old way, they're just going to experience a lot of shakeups and a lot of chaos. It's like almost like the Tower or the Wheel of Fortune, you know? So the masculines are getting the path of service, which is beautiful. It's an illuminated path for them that's calling them. For the feminine, Yeah, you guys, the feminines are having these revelations. We're getting barite here with the element of storm. So how Uranus is playing out, this Uranian energy, Uranus retrograde in Taurus, going to square Saturn in Aquarius retrograde. The feminine is having um, revelations right there. It's electric. So the feminine energy is perhaps it's like a recalibration in her mind, of the mind, a clearing of the mind, like maybe the feminines were dealing with some sort of mental health type of things. It's mental health, the mind, all of that. Conditions are perfect for the feminines. It's where everything's coming together to create change. So there's change for both. Feminines having these revelations, and that's going to be different for everyone. This is going to resonate differently for everyone. The masculines have this beautiful door that's open. It's a doorway. It's a gateway for them into higher levels of service. With the chaurite there, it's a purple stone. So it is something that's more spiritually based. It's more spiritual in nature. And for the feminine, I don't know. Let's get a clarifier for the feminine. Yeah. So I was feeling like, because we're getting watermelon tourmaline here with inner peace. So yeah, I was sensing that there's inside the feminine collective, the feminines have been through a lot, and inside of the world, right? There's just there's so much, and I feel that this is where the feminines are working on their mental health. And I think that that's really beautiful. It's a beautiful place to be. The element of water, watermelon tourmaline is, it's pink and green or pink and blue, right? So it's very, it heals on a cellular level. We're seeing a temple there. So I'm almost feeling like these two are connected. It's like, these are places for the masculine and the feminine. You see how soft all of this is, water and air. And this is where these two places, they may coincide in the same plane. This is like the same dimension here. This is the same frequency. So really all paths lead home, because that is very twin flame. So speaking of which, I have this really great twin flame ascension cards take me home oracle deck. So let's end with a message from this. Let's see where the bond is inside of twin flame right now. And then I will try to do I know I always say this, I'll try to do another one of these soon, but I really am going to, because I want to explore this more. I think the energies are so powerful, and we also have the planet Mars moving through Gemini for the next 7 months, and it's a really long transit, and Mars will go retrograde on Halloween and stay retrograde until December. So again, this is a big time of reflection, revelation, walking towards a higher path, working on the mental health. For the masculine, I feel that this is very healing for them as well. It's healing their spiritual nature. It's a path of accepting that they're spiritual beings and healing their spiritual nature. That there's something around that for the masculine. So, and also just going back to the matrix and just in general, how if you're running conditioning, I mean, this shit is so deep in the matrix, right? It's conditioning, it's programming, it's the falsities, it's the lies, the deceptions, everything that aims to keep us as in mental slavery, on this the loop, right? The number 8 turned on its side, that karmic loop, the wheel that just keeps going and going and going. So what was my point? So just getting back to that, I'm feeling like with this whole retrograde season, and also Mars moving through Gemini, because Gemini represents the twins, this is where it doesn't matter. I know this is a hard pill to swallow, but if you know who your twin is and you feel like you're on 2 different timelines, or you're not coming together, there's always something that's in the way. I believe, I know knowledge is power. So this Matrix movie it's a big disclosure movie for twin flame specifically. For twin flame, it's cosmic disclosure. So having this knowledge, and that's why I really wanted to explore what each of the wands in the tarot kind of represented. Having this knowledge, I feel that it does allow both the masculine and the feminine, depending on who you are watching this, to follow this path of service, this temple path, this higher path where like there's good health, there's healing, there's going to be abundance in both of these places. So again, like, the feminine is having some kind of revelations around this. And inside of the union, we're seeing rebirth here. So rebirth with 7-7, some of this could be going back to July. Personal freedom unleashed. And there's a butterfly at the center here. And I mean, you really can't make this up. But there's the lemniscates there. And it's this wheel. So it is transcending a lot of this. It's transcending this loop. I don't know about you, but I don't want to come back into this program. I'm not coming back into this program. We're here to transcend it. We're here to, to see it crumble, to see it be no more, this program. And so especially the Pluto being in the last degrees of Capricorn and moving into Aquarius next year. And so we're seeing all these systems, structures crumble. We're seeing more and more revelations every day. So, if you're still watching this, so you're clearly on this path of ascension, awakening, all of that, and being someone powerful inside of this. Like, butterflies are powerful little creatures there. Like, they really are. They're no joke. And they come in swiftly, and it is that air element. I think this is Mars moving through Gemini with the rebirth. So allow that to happen, because like I said, I just feel like also to have some twin flame teachings, that are a bit higher level. We're not just going to sit here and talk about runner, chaser, karmic this, karmic that, like blah, blah, blah. It's deeper than that. And it is about your personal freedom unleashed. And that is Saturn in Aquarius. It's like Saturn wants to control its systems, its control structures, and Aquarius, Uranian, wants to rebel and revolutionize. And also, where are some of the deceptions inside of that? Even checking in, where are the new age deceptions? Where, are we just being lied to and led down a path towards artificial intelligence that doesn't serve humanity? That was another portion of the Matrix Matrix 4 that I found to be interesting, were the Sentinels and even Morpheus, and how, there were these beings that were AI based, but they were they had also had their own rebirth, and they had their own personal freedom unleashed, because obviously they became sentient. So even looking at that, where the AI can take us into the future, and where it can positively coexist with humanity, and where it is part of the false inversion of the organic. So discernment, twin flames, discernment. We have to be so discerning with the teachings, with the things that we listen to, that we expose ourselves to, like all of that, and not from a place of fear, but something about our personal freedom being unleashed. And Uranus is very rebellious. So both of the twins, there is this element of like rebellion. I feel like if you've done the work, then you may not have a whole lot to rebel against. Like, your rebellion is just the life that you live, because you're not participating. You've removed yourself from as many aspects of the system as you can. And you're continuing to do that, building community, again, just being more and more sovereign. And yeah, so 10-10, this might be taking us into October. So it's about creativity. And I feel that that's a huge thing because the Wands energy that we talked about tonight is the creative force. Cups is very creative as well, but the Wands is a very, very creative force. We're seeing more butterflies here. So the butterfly is sort of on the totem for twin flames right now, is the butterfly. And there's like a wave of rainbow. And what I love too is that there are sort of these deep, 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 deep blues, almost like a midnight. So there's still, you know, it's the darkness and the light. It's all of it being alchemized into cosmic intelligence. So this is divine creativity. And this is where this Uranian energy, squaring Saturn, that it's like breaking through the glass ceiling, if you will. And the Leo King was talking about shattered realities, and where this is where there's potent creativity. That Ace of Wands, that very, very first card, you know, about the source, the hand of God that's working through all of us, this divine intelligence, divine creativity. That's the hand of God right there, Manus Dei. And, you know, and so receiving cosmic intelligence, I feel that this is what maybe September feels a bit, however September is going to feel. I don't want to even project any of that onto you. You decide for yourself, right? What that's going to look like, but that there's this beautiful, beautiful creativity coming in for inside of twin flame. And it's where we do get creative. And like we were seeing that obviously in the Matrix and how just how it all played out. And you know, and that they were really birthing something new, and that there is going to be, as these systems crumble, and as, you know, whatever it is, maybe in your own life, you're just like getting rid of your Facebook or your Instagram or your Twitter, and you're getting onto new platforms, and you're finding people in new ways, and you're finding new ways of being part of spiritual community or inside of your own world, whatever that looks like. That's what's kind of coming out of this rebirth, is a creative energy that is taking you into the future. You know, when a lot of the things that a lot of these systems that we've been a part of our whole lives, a lot of them, they're not going to look the same anymore. Like this is truly a time of reckoning. So honor your agreement, mission in motion, and false twin flame. So I feel like this will be the topic for the next one, because this is something that I want to talk about, is the false twin flame, intense change. So it's, I guess, similar to a karmic energy, but it's more intense. And this could be like a catalyst twin. Anyway, so that's something that I think we'll save for the next time. If you're interested in the false twin flame, that can be something that I'll talk about next time. We're also getting mission in motion and about honoring agreements. So I have a lot to say about this too, because it's the 8-8. And this may be where, you know, okay, there are people in your lives, situations in your lives. If you don't have contact with your twin, in the physical, you know, maybe you're connected, you'll always be connected in the other realms, however that presents it in your personal journey. But the other relationships that you have in your life, the other situationships that you have in your life, these sort of karmic agreements, and these are the things that catalyze you to drive your mission forward. So whatever your personal mission is, you know, whether it's this temple of inner peace, whether it is this huge, you're a change maker. You actually are someone, like, your energy is electrifying to other people. You're shocking. You even have shock value with this revelation. I know this came out for the divine feminine, which is so interesting. And so, you know, but that could also be for the masculine. And then for the masculine, we got the path of service. So where do these situationships, these very things that feel very dense and heavy with like kind of that brown there, and it almost feels like I don't know, like this is almost like the simulation. This is like the video game, you know, this is part of the simulation here, but how those things help you to realize your mission, realize your where you're being led, you know, from the deepest parts of you. So okay, everybody, those were the messages. I don't know. I hope that this resonated. I hope you enjoyed this. If there's anything I can do for you, please reach out. I want to mention that self-love came out at the bottom here and nurturing the inner child. So, and that was also a 1010. So with the creativity, divine creativity, and receiving cosmic intelligence and practicing self-love and nurturing the inner child can be something that takes us into October and inside of the 1010. You know, I know we love to like put numbers on all of these portals and gateways, and I think sometimes we go a little bit overboard with that, I have to say. So, you know, this could mean something totally different to you. 10 plus 10 is 20. Wheel of Fortune and Judgment. So it is shifting energy. It is getting on the higher path. It's also releasing the past, resurrection, like all of that. So I think something is being rebirthed for each of the twins. And I guess I'll leave it at that, you guys. So thank you for being here. I hope that this was helpful for all of you. I am sending you lots of love and light. Take good care. Namaste.